Let's go across to Hemant Sikka, President Farm Equipment Sector at Mahindra and Mahindra. Mr. Sikka, hi, good morning. Thank you so much for making time and speaking with us. First up, I just wanted to start by talking about the recent predictions coming in with respect to the weather and the IMD forecast, wherein they're talking about the El Nino impact going to be there this year. What does this mean at the time when rural recovery was already a tad bit tepid? Are you a lot concerned about it?
So first of all, for the tractor segment, this has been one of the best years so far. The tractor industry is likely to grow upwards of 12%. So far, YTD, the growth is 12.1%. And with only month of March left in this fiscal, we are looking forward to this kind of strong growth to continue in the month of March. So even though rural demand has been tepid for certain segments of the industry, but for tractor industry, this has been our best year ever. Having said that, clearly looking at the way ahead, what indications we are getting is that there is a likely of El Nino coming in the monsoon of this year. However, still this is very early days because more data needs to be processed. IMD has come up with the latest outlook saying that by middle of April, they will have better data to say what kind of El Nino will be there. Whether the El Nino will be weak, moderate, strong, these are the kind of signals that we need to monitor. So right now, there is a higher probability of El Nino happening. But what is the intensity of El Nino? I think that is what we need to monitor. So I would still say these are early days. By middle of April, we'll have a better idea.
Uh, isn't there a dichotomy there? Rural demand under pressure, agrarian economy is doing okay. Tractor sales is doing okay because agrarian economy is doing okay. If agrarian economy is doing okay, why is there a crunch in rural demand?
So Nikunj, this has been a topic of discussion throughout the year that how is it that tractor industry is doing so well when other parts of the rural economy are still looking sluggish. I think there are three, four factors which are aiding the demand for tractors. One is that we have had four back-to-back years of normal monsoon. This has never happened since the time records are kept since independence of the country. So this has been a very major factor. The water reservoir levels are upwards of the 10 years average. As a result, we have seen that the sowing and the resultant crop production has been hitting record after record in the last 3 years. On the other side, the output prices for wheat, mustard, oil seeds, pulses, they are all holding very well. So as a result, what's happening is that the farmer's cash has improved over the last 3 years, what we have seen. So what happens in a rural economy, now farmers have choices, whether he wants to spend this money on discretionary or whether he wants to spend the money on creating an asset. Generally, what we have seen is that for a farmer, whenever he is able to have cash in his hands, he would go and buy the tractor because he's creating an asset. He's creating an earning member in the family. And I think that has helped the tractor industry to grow so well. I mean, this year we are looking at an industry which is a 12% growth. You would recollect that last time when I came on our channel, we were giving a guidance of 5 to 6% for the industry growth. Now it's upwards of 10% growth. So clearly the demand is very strong. And this is clearly on the back of good monsoon, good crop prices, very good sowing, good crop production, and the farmer's inherent bias for putting their extra cash into creating an asset.
Let me ask you something which Anisha also referred to, the impact of El Nino and strong monsoon. Markets tend to think that poor monsoon means poor crop, it means poor sales for tractors. But do you think that's history now? Because that time the land under irrigation was different, water levels were different, water reservoir levels were different, and God forbid, even if we have a deficient monsoon this year, the effect will not be felt this year, it will be felt next year or the year after.
Nikunj, this is a very important point what you brought up, and I completely align with you. Even if we are able to pass this year with, let's say, a moderate kind of El Nino, I don't think this will have a very severe impact on the crop production for the reasons outlined by you. The reservoir levels are running very high, and we have seen in the past data also that whenever we have been hit by El Nino, if the water reservoir levels were good, we were able to pass that particular year with flying colors. It is only if we lose next monsoon again, then the real stress happens. So I would completely agree with you that if we get a reasonable kind of monsoon this year, even if it is not like excess of normal, I think we will have a very good crop production again this year.
Mr. Sikka, hi there, morning. I just wanted to understand what the situation is when it comes to exports as well. Is there any sort of a slowdown that you're experiencing? Because across the industry, there has been pressure on exports.
So for us, exports has actually done very well because even with all the global headwinds that you are witnessing, we are still up by 5% this year. And let me say that this 5% growth for us is on a very high base because last year our exports business grew 65%. So on a very rapid high growth of 65% last year, this year again, we have grown by 5% so far, YTD this year. But clearly, I would agree with you that there are pockets in the global economy which are witnessing stress. For us, Brazil, Mexico, US are doing very well. Africa has done very well for us. However, countries of South Asia are slow. Nepal, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka have been slow for this year. So overall, I would say this has been a challenging year, but I think overall we have held up well with a growth of 5% in our exports this year.
Sure. Mr. Sikka, also wanted to get a sense from you that the new TREM 4 norms are likely to be implemented in calendar year 25. It's still a while away. But ahead of that, what kind of impact do you see on demand, and what about pricing? Are you taking price hikes, or are you passing on the benefits of lower commodity now?
So from 1st of January this year, the TREM 4 norms have been implemented for tractors which are upwards of 50 HP. But let me just share more data point with you that India, the largest block of tractor industry is within 30 HP to 50 HP. This is 83% of the industry actually falls between 30 HP and 50 HP, for which there has been no change in emission norms. The emission norms to TREM 4 has happened only for tractors which are over 50 HP and above, which is only 6.5 to 7% of the industry, which has already implemented, and we have not seen any impact. The pricing has got established in the last 2 months. The new tractor will start going in because unlike the auto industry where the government didn't allow them to sell even a single vehicles after a day, for tractor industry, whatever production has been done till 31st of December, we have 6 more months to sell. So right now the industry is still liquidating their old stocks. New stocks have gone into the market. The prices are getting established. So I'm very happy to share with you actually on the behalf of industry that the way with close cooperation between TMA, which is the Tractors and Mechanization Association, which is the all tractors players coming together, and the government of India. I think broadly we have collaborated very well, and this whole migration to TREM 4 for 50 HP and above has actually went on very well. Now you have asked for the next level of emission change, which are still a couple of years ahead. Here again, the TMA is in active discussion with the Ministry of Agriculture and Ministry of Road and Highway. And we are very hopeful that with the kind of discussions that we are having and with the delay what happened with TREM 4, the TREM 5 stage, there will be further extension given to the industry for this.
So tractor sales are doing well, exports are doing well, monsoon will not have an effect. It was, this is like a boom time for the tractor industry. So there is no bad news. There has to be some bad.
I lost the audio.
No,
can you just repeat the last line?
I'm saying tractor sales are doing well, margins are decent, exports are looking up, monsoon impact will not be there, emission norms are not a challenge. So there is no bad news at all. I mean, what is the bad news? You have to tell us that what could challenge this scenario.
I would, Nikunj, keep a very close watch on the second last factor that you said, which is on monsoon. As we discussed in the earlier part of this discussion, that there is a likelihood of a El Nino happening in India after 4 strong monsoons back to back. Right now, the probability is at around 49%. Let's see how the probability moves. I would keep my fingers crossed till middle of April, by which time we will have better data coming in. And clearly keep a watch on what's happening on the intensity of El Nino. If it is a weak El Nino, moderate El Nino, as you rightly said, I think we'll pass through with reasonable monsoon this year. But if it is a strong and very strong monsoon, obviously then the monsoon will get impacted. And generally what we have seen from the past data, that if you have a very strong impact on monsoon, the agri production goes down by 2 to 3%. Now in the last couple of years, we all know that agri production has been hitting record high. So what is the impact of 2 to 3% loss of agri production which will happen? Suppose it happens, if there is a very strong El Nino, how it will impact demand. Now these are factors that we have to watch more. We are very keeping a very close watch on what's happening on the ground, regularly in touch with the key stakeholders across the agri chain. And I think by middle of April, end of April, we'll have a very good idea of how the year will pan out for us.
Appreciate your time. Thank you so much for joining in and giving us a clearer picture for the on-ground situation, tractor sales, and what the outlook is down the line.